on this week's episode of The Chris and Andre Show.
It's time for politics.
So one thing I want to talk about, and that just kind of blows my mind, is like, and it's really a question: can we talk about gun safety now? Like, can we just what is it going to take for us to truly, wholeheartedly talk about gun safety?
Can I answer that question? I know the rest of you couldn't see me raising my hand until it switched to me, but no, we cannot. Next.
Next topic.
I mean, that seems to be the general perception, is it's like, well, I mean, could we do something? Yeah. Are we going to do anything about it? Nah.
The question being, why not? I mean, what is it going to take for us to have a better conversation about gun safety, have a better conversation? I don't want to get into the whole, I don't agree with the argument with the Second Amendment in public discourse. I think it's sorely out of context.
Sure.
But if we're going to meet in the middle, can we have better laws so kids aren't going to school and killing three of their classmates or their peers? And, how many times do we have to do this?
I would say there needs to be more realistic law. And I think a lot of times people need to understand what gun control really is. It's not them taking what you already own or preventing you from getting weapons after already been able to got them in the past. It's all about managing what you have so that we can't make things worse for ourselves. Because clearly, as a nation, we're consistently making things worse for ourselves. So
we're very good at that.
We're excellent at it, and it's just so depressing. It's so depressing. Because I know some people are like, as soon as you bring up gun laws, they're like, well, what about alcohol? Alcohol has killed more people per year than guns ever had. I'm like, you can't. I can't throw a bottle of alcohol at somebody and they die immediately.
Right.
But and at the same time, right? Alcohol is pretty heavily regulated. In North Carolina, if you want to buy anything over 20% alcohol, you got to go to an ABC store. So it's I mean, for the longest time, you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays, even beer.
That's a good point.
Yeah, for a while you couldn't buy any alcohol. Now it's just you can't buy alcohol. You can't buy hard alcohol, and the regular stuff you have to wait till after a certain time. So no,
actually, no. The state of North Carolina got rid of the time frame on Sundays. Yeah, you can buy alcohol. You can buy alcohol anytime.
I've been wasting so much
on Sundays. Yeah.
I've been waiting so much time, waiting like a humbled man.
Yeah, they finally got rid of that. It was because it was so dumb. You could go to a restaurant and order, 6 mimosas or Bloody Marys on, Sunday morning brunch and get totally tanked. But I can't go to the grocery store and buy a 12-pack of beer.
Why can't I have my morning beer except coffee? Okay. Right?
I mean, the other day I had to pick up coffee creamer to come into the office, and I picked up a 12-pack of beer with it. Yeah, the lady gave me a weird look. Yeah, I told her I was going to mix the two. What does she care?
So stupid.
What you should do is walk up, pack a beer, and 6 containers of butter.
No, I mean, I legitimately did though. I bought a 12-pack of Modelo for the office here because we were running low, and I think it was last week when we were doing the podcast. I was like, oh, I got to remember to pick up some beer before the podcast, and so I was coming over first thing in the morning. And I was like, well, I'll just go over for now, and because I had to get coffee creamer. And I was like, well, I'm here. I might as well get the beer. And I was like, it's 8:30 in the morning, and I'm here and you're buying a 12-pack of Modelo and 2 things of vegan coffee creamer.
Starting fresh.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's hilarious. So, and I don't, I just want to, I'll say this to people that are probably, I'm not pro or anti-gun. I'm just
You think we have pro-gun people listening to our podcast?
Just say we might.
They may listen to it ironically.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me weigh in on this real quick because it'd be really concise, if you don't mind.
No.
I support guns and I support gun rights. To most of my life, I've never owned a weapon, until my house is until I felt purposefully like targeted. So for a while during the Black versus Blue Lives Matter movement, firefighters were getting caught in the crosshair, and other than our truck being shot at by on the way to scenes, in North Carolina there was a number of firefighters killed as they arrived to scenes. And that's not here or there how to go into the history of that or the case files, but it hit home really quick and really fast with us. And tension started to rise really quickly when a firefighter pointed a gun at a civilian at a car accident. All the guy was supposed to do is manage traffic, and when the people in the vehicle wouldn't stop because they wanted to go through the median and everything, he pulled a gun out on them. So because of that, anti-first responder sentiments was on the rise. Fire trucks were getting shot, ambulances were getting run off the road, stuff like that. I know gang violence is a thing, but when it's targeted at people who are trying to help you, it just seems counterproductive. So with regards to that, I never felt I needed to own a gun, even though I supported people who wanted them. So the first gun I got was modestly a shotgun, because that's not something you can just take down an entire bus with. You can't just go on a rampage with it.
You can.
Right?
Haven't you been playing Vanguard?
Okay.
It's not.
Well, I wanted something reasonable with not that wouldn't go through like 5 walls.
No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I understand the logic behind it. I think Andre's arguing with the basis of the logic ever so slightly. But
man, dude, when I went to go buy a gun, the guy was like, "Here's an AK." I'm like, I don't need that. I just need like a handgun or a shotgun. And he's like, "Well, the handgun penetrates further." I'm like, "I don't really need it to go into my neighbor's house. I just needed to stop the guy at the front door." But yeah, that was the first and only time I've ever owned a firearm, and it's more than enough for my needs. I don't flaunt it. This is actually one of the first times I've talked about this year of just owning one. So I think there needs to be a more realistic understanding of what purpose firearms have in our day-to-day life, and and how we should approach them realistically. And I think too many people fetishize them, and they treat them like I do comic books. They just want to collect as many as they can. And yeah, and if you think about guns like comic books, if somebody says they're going to take away your comic books, you get defensive. You don't want that. It doesn't make sense to you. Like, why are you touching my comic books? There's no reason for you to touch my comic books. That's the same way gun fanatics feel, gun enthusiasts, gun loyalists, whatever. So there's a middle ground, and Hawaii was a wonderful example of that. You can own guns in Hawaii, but everything had to be registered, and every year you had to bring them to the sheriff's office to get inspected, make sure you didn't make any illegal modifications to them. But other than that, it's fair game. You can just have guns. Here, buy it, get it.
Well, I'll echo the voice of, and then we can move on because this is a rabbit hole. I'll echo the voice of some influential Black comedians. If we want to really fix gun laws, there's like every Black person start buying guns. Yeah. Then people are gonna be like, "Oh, we need to get some regulations because they're not." It's gonna be a problem.
Just have all Black people start wearing Huey P. Newton shirts like yours,
Oh yeah.
To hear the rest, tune into this week's episode of The Chris and Andre Show.